Katie Couric may have liked husband John Molner right away, but it took him a beat to call her the first time. In 2012 I was single again and I asked a friend of mine, Molly, whose husband is a trauma surgeon, if her husband knew any other doctors because I thought I'd like to go out with a doctor. Couric told People's editor-in-chief Jess Cagle. And so she thought about it and she said, "We don't really know a doctor, but we do know this banker named John Molner." And I said, "Does he have a pulse?" When Molner never called her, Couric asked her friend about him again, and finally, after much badgering, he rang. "He finally asked me out. We met at a restaurant and what can I say?" Couric recalled. "He had me at hello." Despite embarking on a red-hot romance after reconnecting in early 2017, Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez actually met 12 years prior, at a baseball game, while the singer was still married to ex-Marc Anthony. But it took Lopez tapping Rodriguez on the shoulder during a chance encounter in Beverly Hills for the pair to jump-start their relationship. The athlete was searching for his lost car in a parking lot when Lopez made her move. "I turn around, and I do not recognize this person," he explained on the Ellen DeGeneres show. "And it's Jennifer, but she's dressed up as Harley from Shades of Blue, and it took me about 4 or 5 seconds. And she said, 'It's Jennifer. It's Jennifer.' I go, 'Oh my god, Jennifer, you look beautiful.' I was so embarrassed and then I got a little nervous, and I'm like, this is so goofy. We all know who Jennifer is and she's everywhere." Once everyone was properly identified, Lopez reminded him he had her number and said to reach out, which he promptly did that night. It was just one of those things where you feel compelled to do something you wouldn't normally do. Lopez recalled in the pair's December 2017 Vanity Fair cover story. "I almost yelled out, 'Alex,' but I am the shyest person when it comes to things like that." In a sit-down interview with People's editor-in-chief Jess Cagle for the Jess Cagle interview, Angela Bassett revealed she met her now husband, fellow actor Courtney B. Vance, in drama school, when he had a girlfriend. "He had a beautiful, beautiful girlfriend at the time, who was also in drama school with us," Bassett recalled. "So maybe about 14 years later, our paths crossed here in Los Angeles. And I was single, he was single. And I had such an appreciation for him over those years, of his consistency, how he treated other people, of what a supporter he is, what a connector of people and ideas he is, how passionate he is." After 21 years of marriage, Hugh Jackman can still remember the day he met his wife Deborah Lee Furness like it was yesterday. At the time, the Greatest Showman star was in his early 20s and had just booked his first acting gig on the Australian TV series Couric, which Furness, 13 years his senior, was starring in. "Deb, she was a big star. I get picked up, and Deb is in the front seat of the car. I'll never forget," Jackman recalled to People. "She took off her seatbelt and she turned around and put out her hand and took off her sunglasses and said, 'Hi, I'm Deborah Lee Furness, nice to meet you.' I remember thinking, I like this girl." Mandy Moore has Instagram to thank for meeting, dating and ultimately getting engaged to fiancé Taylor Goldsmith, the frontman for the band Dawes. "I took a picture of their album and posted it on Instagram," the This Is Us actress revealed to People. "Somehow, Taylor saw it and sent a note to me. We started emailing back and forth, then we went on a date and the rest is history. Thanks Instagram for helping me meet my fiancé." Colton Haynes and fiancé Jeff Letham's meet cutest. Well, pretty cute. What started out as a setup made by friends that never came to fruition led to a chance encounter at an airport lounge in Paris. "We happened to randomly run into each other at the airport lounge in Paris where Jeff hit me with his bag and said, 'Hey punk, aren't you Colton?' And after 10 seconds of literal love at first meeting, I responded, 'Hi Jeff,' and couldn't find words to say cause I was dumbstruck," Haynes recounted on Instagram. Don't write off blind dates. Wentworth and Stephanopoulos fell hard for each other after being set up by a mutual friend. "We met on a blind date," the comedian revealed on The Tonight Show. "I had a birthday party, all girls, and everyone said, 'You know, you have to start dating Allie,' and I said, 'You know what, I live in LA, it's either agents or actors, I'm not interested.' And one of them said, 'You should go out with my old boyfriend, George Stephanopoulos,' and I said, 'No, thank you.'" Eventually, Wentworth agreed to the meetup, thinking that if nothing else, a date with the former White House communications director would be a good dinner party story. Wentworth didn't even bother to shower before the date, arriving in a black suit with unshaven legs. "I came in, we sat down, we both ordered the crab salad. And, I'm telling you, by the end of lunch, it was done. We were engaged 2 months later. Married 6 months later," she shared. "It was pretty much love at first sight for this A-list couple, or at least, it was for George Clooney. His father, Nick Clooney, told People that when George first met Amal Clooney, at a dinner party attended by mutual friends and mother Nina Clooney, in 2013, the Oscar winner was instantly smitten. Nina and I were actually the ones who answered the door when Amal came in. Nick told People. She introduced herself to us and we talked. She was obviously very charming, gorgeous and so clearly accomplished, but by the time we had supper that night, it was clear there was a kindness to her and an inclusiveness. By the end of supper, I started looking over at Nina and saying, "Look, oh you, this could be trouble for this young man." 4 years later, they're married, and are parents to twins Ella and Alexander. Gloria and Emilio Estefan met during a jam session back in 1975. In comes Emilio. He's playing the accordion in very short shorts, and he looked like he was naked, so that was the first impression that I got. Gloria said in an interview for People in ABC News news series People Icons. Then my mom drags me to a wedding a few months later, and I walk in the door, and there he is playing The Hustle. He tracked me down 2 weeks later. Stephen Colbert knew instantly, his wife, Evelyn, I was the one, when he saw her in a theater lobby and thought, her. That's your wife. You're going to marry her. The couple's love story began later near the buffet line at the show's after-party. You will kick yourself for the rest of your life if you do not turn around and say hello to her. Colbert remembers saying to himself upon seeing Evelyn, who, the two later discovered, he had grown up with. When Reese Witherspoon was hit on by a really drunk guy one night at a pal's party, she never guessed that the jerk's behavior would somehow lead to meeting her now husband, talent agent Jim Toth. Jim came over and said, "Please excuse my friend, he's just broken up with someone." Witherspoon recalled to Elle magazine of the couple's first encounter. "I remember thinking, Jim was a really good friend, pulling his drunk pal out of that situation. That's just kind of who he is, a really good person." For Tom Ford, love at first sight was something he experienced when coming face-to-face with his now husband, Richard Buckley, on an elevator ride almost 30 years ago. "By the time that elevator landed on the ground floor I thought, you're the one, that's it. Click. Sold," Ford said during an appearance on the Jess Cagle interview. "It was literally love at first sight." He continues, "Our eyes locked and within a month we were living together. We have been together ever since. This December will be 30 years. Joe Manganiello and his now wife, Sofia Vergara, first met at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2014, back when the Modern Family actress was still engaged to Nick Loeb. I mean, she had a boyfriend at that time, so I probably could have got in a fight for doing that." Manganiello said about not dating Vergara until she was single. "I'm not trying to start a fight at the White House," he added. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend first met on the set of Legend's Stereo music video in 2007. "I'm not going to lie. We hooked up. And then when he went on tour, I left him by himself for a while," she told Cosmopolitan. "The worst thing you can do is try to lock someone like that down early on, then have them think, there's so much more out there. I played it cool for a long time. Never once did I ask, what are we? Marriage was never my goal, because I've never been very traditional. I was just happy to be with him." Edit post.